You guys, can you believe this? I don't know if I should laugh, if I should cry, if I should scream. I mean, at this point, what do we do? I think we've said everything we can say. I mean, what do we say at this point? There were so many other things that he could have done, so many other remedies that were available to him, and this is what he chooses. But some of the things I just wanted to say that we can talk about. Are you guys hearing me? Lyman is trying. Aw, Lily, you unbooked the docket. Too depressing. Yes, all of it. Laugh, cry, scream. Exactly. Okay, good. Glad you're hearing me. So I was looking at this and I'm like, can we talk about some of these things? Can we talk about him refusing to do an in camera with Ellen to find out why she couldn't be there at 8? Can we talk about why he just ruled and didn't even bother to do that? Can we talk about how the original time was 10? This isn't like the original time was 8, and Ellen just said, "Oh, I can't do that," and that she's the one who said that last minute. No, the original time was 10. They already, very last minute, changed it to 9. Then, even more last minute, wanted to change it to 8 and demanded, like, we've seen the emails, how they arranged this to be 8. It isn't like Ellen tried to change it. This is being changed last minute, and he's allowing it. Can we talk about the fact that the last time that Wayfarer tried to make some last minute change, he screamed about it, that there's a 48-hour conferral time. But when Blake does it and does this whole big emergency, this man started his morning at a time that he was probably still in bed at Blake's beck and call, saying he was taking this under consideration. This just dropped this late at night. It's after 1 o'clock in the morning in New York. And now he's probably back in bed, still doing Blake's bidding. What on a Saturday? What is even happening here? Yes, this is Wayfarer's deposition. Why can Blake just come along, rearrange the whole thing with the judge's blessing? And yeah, this is him doing his stretches so he can keep bending over for her. Can we talk about how this deponent was willing to sit a second time and said, hey, if this doesn't work out, I can come back and do a second deposition? There were so many other things that could have been done to resolve this. But no, Blake gets her way. After the way she spoke, after the way her attorneys spoke to Ellen about this whole situation, and she sent all that to him. He read all that. And still, Blake gets her way. They're deposing the one of the Sony executives. And Blake demanded to go first. And two things. She's trying to establish the story with this guy because this is somebody who's more favorable to her. It's someone from her list of people. That's why they're on the list to be deposed. Secondly, the afternoon is the time everybody gets sleepy after answering questions all morning. The afternoon is harder to keep answering questions. Everybody's tired. Everybody's grumpy. It's just so unbelievable. But yes, so it's not a full order that we can, like, it's not a full document we can get and print out. It's just one of the ones where it's just in the little box. So this is what it says. Order granting 809 motion for relief regarding a deposition scheduled for Tuesday, September 30th, 2025. Mr. Greenstein shall sit for his deposition on Tuesday from 8 to 4:30. This is exactly what Blake asked for. A deposition scheduled by Wayfarer. Set up for a while, changed at the last minute to suit Blake. It was originally set for 10. Plaintiff shall question first. Guess who plaintiff is? It's Blake. And shall have 3.5 hours for on-the-record testimony, in addition to a total of no more than 30 minutes for breaks, if requested by the court reporter, videographer, or witness. Defendant shall question second, and shall have 3.5 hours for on-the-record testimony. There shall be a break for lunch of no more than 30 minutes after the questioning by plaintiff. The personal matter mentioned by defendants must give way to the convenience of the non-party witness. No, this is the convenience of Blake. The witness, I'm sure, doesn't mind being deposed for a smaller amount of time. This is not for the witness's convenience. The only thing the witness said is, I have to leave at 4:30. But the witness doesn't care if they come early or not. They said they're available to. They didn't say they wanted to. So don't lie and say that this is for the convenience of the deponent. But let's look at, oh yeah, I'm going to catch up with you guys. Yeah, we saw, here we go. From his producer brother to not rock the movie star boat, or he got sick of people accusing him of being pro-lively. Liman didn't care very much about Taylor's convenience when he denied the extension. Exactly. But when Wayfarer asks for something, they don't get it. Yes, the plaintiff rules this case. She really does. And I'm starting to wonder, when I see things like this happening, is this just a flex of Blake and Ryan to show us all how much they have this judge in their pocket? Just these stupid little things like, hey, look what we can make this judge do. Like he's their dancing monkey. I mean, it's crazy. This is the thing. Canceling a federal judge, basically impossible. A compromising photo. Done worse for less. Somebody get this man to compromise. I tell you, it's so bad. It's really so bad. And when I first made the accusations and dug out his financials, people were so shocked and said some terrible things about me. And like I keep saying, look where we are now. So, and I can get usually a really good sense of people. That hairline is never coming back right. Exactly. I genuinely think Liman hates the Wayfarer attorney and will take every opportunity to rule against him. Yeah, but you know what's funny is I think we all came to that conclusion. I think even Brian Friedman did. And so he backed away and he's like, okay, let's let Kevin take it. And so Kevin took it. And Kevin got kicked around. And so then they're like, okay, let's let Ellen take it. And so Ellen took it. And he doesn't mind kicking her around. It's crazy. Yeah, Monica. That's what I thought about tonight. I'm like, how much does this really matter? And is this just a flex to show what they can do? No, this isn't for Van Zandt. This is for a Sony exec that's being deposed. But he's one of the ones that Blake listed as kind of a witness for her. So it's really important to get this person's deposition because he's probably going to be a witness at trial. So they need to know what he's going to say, and they need the record of his deposition so that if any bit of his story changes, they can bring this deposition out and say, uh-oh, he said this under sworn testimony, and they can impeach him on it. So having this man's deposition is really, really important, especially for Wayfair, not so much for Blake. So the way that she's getting favored here is so backwards because this is for Wayfair. They're the ones who set it up. They're the ones who need it the most. This this is Blake's witness, basically. So they're the ones that are the most important. Wayfair needs to hire a lawyer for 1 hour to say objection to every question, and yes, and eat up all of her time. It is so gross, Eliza. It's so gross. I've run out of words. I'm gonna have to learn an entirely new language to be able to express how I feel. We know Cassidy has been stressed because we've had no chicken butts. Exactly. Guess what? Chicken butt. Oh. Yeah, I've heard that, but I don't buy it anymore. So Lily says, I think it was not actually Golden that said she thinks Lyman's giving Blake all the wins so that when she loses, she has nothing to stand on when she appeals. That gave me hope, not anymore. Same here. I'm not. And here's the thing, guys. When you're talking about attorneys, especially those who practice in federal court, they are absolutely not going to say anything bad about a judge. They're not. It would be stupid for them to. I don't disrespect them for it. I understand very much why they don't. But don't go by what they say when you want to talk about a judge. If you want to talk bad about a judge, come and talk to me about it, because I'll agree with you. But you're not going to get one of these guys to agree. I think little girl attorney comes pretty close to it. But no, not actually Golden isn't going to. And I respect that. Some chicken butt merch. I have no idea how to even start with merch. I thought about getting some rings from Ireland, some of their traditional stuff that is from there. I thought about doing that at some point, but I didn't know if anybody would be interested in that. But anyway, let's look. You've probably already seen this because this came out earlier. But I just highlighted it because it just shows this is what Judge Lyman saw and still made this ruling. I agree, KB. Oh, sorry. I'll forgive Lyman everything. I will forgive it all if he gives motions for judgment on the pleadings to Wayfair. Fingers crossed. At this point, though, I am not holding my breath. His ruling does not stop the fact that she has brought no evidence. Yeah. And you know what he could do with that motion for pleadings? He could just sit and ignore it for a long time. So we think about like, oh, he has to answer this, and what can he say to argue it? Well, he can just ignore it. He can just put it off for a while. And yes to the Irish rings, really? A little chicken butt shirt. Irish rings and a chicken butt shirt. My first merch. I'm not sure. I've heard people say clada or clada. Those rings, they've got a little crown. I got a bunch of those for my family members. So they've got a little crown on top that stands for loyalty. Then they have a heart that stands for love. And then there are two hands, one on each side, like holding the heart. And they stand for friendship. And they originated in Galway, which is where my mom's side of the family is from. And so I just love it. And they also have the Celtic knot. It's like an eternity ring. And those also originated there. And they were sailors. When sailors were leaving, they would take two pieces of rope, and tie that knot and leave it for their sweetheart until they came back. And I think it's just so, so cute. And I just love those. My thumbnails on the tees. That would be a good idea. My thumbnails on maybe on a mug or something. I don't know. Oh, stickers. That would be cool. You could just stick them on whatever you wanted to stick them on. That's a good idea. And that would be easy. That wouldn't be hard to post because it'd be, just an envelope really. But yeah, I'm so mad about that. I hope Ellen can still attend at 8. It's heartbreaking. It really is. Your tear emoji is just right. And it's making me emotional because I can't imagine what it must feel like for these attorneys to just be treated like this over and over and over again. Like they don't matter. Like their client doesn't matter. It's humiliating. It's absolutely humiliating. And I hope that they know how many of us support them and how we feel about the way they're being treated, and that we see through it all. And I hope at some point, somewhere along the line, the truth of all this story, that somebody has the gumption to make a documentary, because the ones that have come out so far have been, of course, all pro Blake. But I hope someday the truth of all of this that's going on behind the scenes, that nobody a lot of people aren't on social media, they're not watching this stuff on YouTube and TikTok. They're just getting the little bits off of mainstream media, and that's all pro Blake. I can't remember, I'm trying to think of who I said something to in my family, and they're like, they thought that it was long over with. Back when Ryan's case was dismissed and they did that whole victory tour, they honestly believed that the case ended there and that Blake won. I mean, that's people who are not keeping up with this on social media have no idea what's actually going on. And I hope at some point that somebody has the guts to do it, and the ability to get it out on some kind of mainstream somewhere beyond social media. Aw, thanks, Dr. Royster. I'd love some Irish rings. My maiden name is Scottish. Oh, so Celtic as well. So they're on the same landmass and same little island and have the same ancestors. Celtic stuff is amazing. It's beautiful. I love it. Yeah, Popcorn Planet, when is that coming out? And is that only going to be behind a paywall? Will it eventually come out to where everyone can see it? Because if it's behind a paywall, that's going to be very limited. No one's buying bathroom burritos. Oh, we should sell some bathroom burritos. That would be great. Yeah, it will be reported in mainstream media as a shocking loss if she loses. And I'm sure they will twist it and make it like it's all the misogynistic world's fault and it's unjust and women can't win. A, a paywall means that you have to subscribe to something in order to see it. So, what's it called? Like, what's that thing called? Patron or something? Probably saying it wrong. But there's a lot of little things, or like Substacks, that you have to pay, and so that limits how many people will get to see it. I think you know what? I don't know, to be honest. I don't know if Popcorn Planet was dismissed or Candace Owen. She just stopped talking about it and started talking. I'm sorry to laugh, but I think the story is absolutely ridiculous. First of all, who cares? And second of all, I don't think so about the French president's wife just completely adamant that it's a man. And last I heard, she was going to show her business to the judge to prove that she was a woman. Andy's still fighting? I didn't know that, but yeah, now that you asked, I just assumed everybody's was done, but I never did hear that his was finished. So, wow. How can we show support to Ellen? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But I wish we could. I hope she knows how loved she is. He said Florida is slow. Yeah, Perez was dropped and I was surprised that they let it go that easy. But I see, look at the difference. His got handled in Las Vegas. And you could see the difference in how things went to New York, and it also proves what I said about jurisdiction. That subpoena that went to all of us, some of us were in other countries, and that subpoena was issued out of New York, so it was invalid. And Perez's makes that very clear because past 100, was it? Oh, I'm getting mixed up now because I'm tired. 100 miles. Yeah, it's 100 miles. Past 100 miles, it's out of jurisdiction. It has no power. But you've still got to fight it in order to say that. But our motions for a protective order and for sanctions all just sitting on the docket being ignored because he doesn't want to deal with it because it goes against Blakey Poo. You know, does he have a poster? I put a poster of Taylor in the picture of his judge's chambers, but I think I should have one of Blake. I think that'll go in my next thumbnail is him like kissing a poster of Blake goodnight before he goes to bed. But because this is just getting beyond sickening. So here are the details. If you haven't seen this document yet, but it was out hours ago, so you probably have all seen it. So this deposition was noticed for 9 a.m. on September 30th. I thought it was originally 10. I guess I got that part mixed up. Relying on the notice with the 9 a.m. start time, Ellen committed to something else that cannot be moved. And here's where she says, I will disclose the nature of my personal issue in camera. So it must have been something that she felt was strong enough of an argument that she was willing to take it to the judge. But no, he wasn't even going to consider it. At 7:25 p.m. on Thursday, she gets an email. The parties would evenly split the time, and that's Exhibit A. At 6:17 a.m., Stephanie sends an email demanding that Miss Lively's questioning of Mr. Greenstein precede defendants as her examination, just like she will at trial. Which, from the attorneys that I've heard speak on this, they say that the person who sets up the person who's arranging the deposition, they get to go first. But they're saying, oh no, Blake gets to go first because she's the plaintiff and she goes first at trial. And so Ellen responds and says, okay, she can go first. I mean, they're so nice. I wouldn't want to agree to anything with these people after what they've been through, but so many times they say, okay. So she agrees, but with conditions that there has to be enough time left for them to complete their examination. And so then there was a series of email exchanges and all this, and then they said, oh no, it has to be 8 a.m. And so then she lists the time of each of these emails that are attached. And then in the end, Blake's attorney just says it's going to begin at 8, and that's it. So, and then here's the important part. This is why they don't want this to happen. This is why they wanted the court to intervene. Because when they were deposing Ann Carroll, who it turns out is Blake's hairstylist, that she agreed. Now, it was someone else that was noticed by Wayfair, not by Blake. So it was up to them, but they bent over for Blake at this one too. And here's what happened. Blake didn't adhere to the times. What a shock. Just like we heard about her on set and making everybody else wait for her and then have to stay late for her. She didn't hold to, the times for the breaks. She would come back late from the breaks. and had frequent breaks. And so all of this happened. And so Ellen had to rush through her portion of the examination. And again, when it's Wayfair setting this up, that means it's one of Blake's people. And what they say in the deposition is much more important to Wayfair than it is to Blake. Blake's friends with these people. She probably talks to these people. She knows what these people are going to say. It's not any surprise to her. It won't be a surprise to her what they say at trial. But it's not so for Wayfair. They really need this record. And so they did her the favor with this woman, and that's how she repaid the favor, by tromping all over them and shorting their time, running late, making everybody wait. And so they're like, this time we can't let this happen. We've got to get this sorted out ahead of time. So, and then we get to these exhibits. All right, let me look at this up close. The way she speaks is just so rude. There's no greeting. It just goes counsel, and then says, we write to confirm that Miss Lively and the Wayfair defendants split the time equally, with Miss Lively as the plaintiff commencing the questioning. I mean, just not a lick of manners, so unprofessional. And I know they're adversaries, but they're still fellow attorneys. You still offer a little bit of respect. How do you have 350 watching live at these crazy hours? Oh my goodness. I didn't know there were that many. Last time I looked, it was a lot fewer. I guess we're all mad about this. Well, thank you, 363 people. That's what I wonder, Monica, is the judge helping his brother's reputation, because he just got a pretty big deal, didn't he? But so then we have, like, I gotta lean forward, my eyes are tired, everything's tired. So here's what they say, and this is absolute insanity. Miss Lively is the plaintiff and has the right to begin questioning just like she will at trial. This deposition is trial testimony and must proceed as such. I have never heard of such a thing. Knack for that says we're all bots. That's right. You're all bots and you're all getting subpoenas. Okay. We're all traumatized. Yes, KB. And yes, Tina, we are all birds of a feather. Okay, so the Europeans get they're the only reasonable ones here because it's 8 a.m. there. So the rest of us are just absolute freaks. That's right, Chris. It's Saturday and I'm allowed to stay up. Aw, I was going to bed when I saw the live. I had to jump on. Thank you. I've heard this, and I'm starting to wonder if there's something deeper than what I originally thought. Ron says, I still feel like CIA guy has dirt on Simon. The CIA would totally know what shady crap a federal judge is up to. I'm just saying. Yeah, no more subpoenas. I think that's passed. Yeah, I don't know what Ellen's going to do. Happiness says, I hope Ellen's okay. Now she has to move her important commitment. Well, or you can see what Blake had to say, or Blake's attorneys had to say. And then here's this threat. Oh, wait, I didn't finish that. So she says, well, because at trial, the plaintiff goes first. Yes, that's true. And so we're going to proceed just like trial. But there's a reason they proceed at trial, and that's going to come up. And then she says, it will be confusing to a jury if the questioning differs from in-court testimony. Does she realize that a jury is not going to sit down and watch all of these depositions, and they're not going to care? Even if they watch them, they're not going to care who goes first. But these depositions don't get played from beginning to end in court. If we get to see any of these depositions, it will be because somebody messed up and somebody says something different, and they will either read back the portion that's different or play back the portion that's different and ask the witness why the difference. and then they can say to the jury that they've impeached their testimony. No jury sits there and just watches all these tapes and gets confused about who went first at the deposition and why are they going first now. It's absolute insanity. I cannot believe this is even in an email. Like, who are these people? And then comes the threat. Yeah, Ron. So Ron says the not so golden lady said that the side scheduling the deposition always goes first because they're the one that it's important to. And so this thing is absolutely ridiculous. And here comes a little tattletale part. Oh, we're going to go to the judge. We intend to seek relief from the court on the ordering issue if you do not confirm by 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that Miss Lively will question Mr. Greenstein first. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Like, we're going to tattle on you if you don't sort this out first. Glow loves books. Thank you. Yes, even Google knows better. It's insane what these people try to get away with. And I shouldn't say try to get away with it because they do get away with it. Obviously. And then, this conversation just gets, yes, AC, I'm telling daddy on you. That's exactly how I read that. That's exactly how I read that. I'm telling if I don't get your way by this time. KB says they're so smug, like they know for sure Liman will give them what they want. Exactly. Yeah, I can't believe he's letting her go first. I can't believe any of this. Never in my life have I seen this. And then she goes and claims, oh no, this is Ellen. So she says, it has been the practice by mutual agreement that the noticing party's examination precedes the examination of the cross-noticing party. That's the way it goes. And she says he's only available till 4:30. And so she lines up like how it could possibly go. And it's all very reasonable. And she said, we graciously agreed only to be pressured by Miss Carroll's counsel, who is apparently being paid by Miss Lively, to complete our portion of the examination earlier for Miss Carroll to catch a flight back to Vancouver. Plaintiff not only used nearly her entire 3.5 hours of questioning, but delayed the deposition by returning late from breaks, including the lunch break, leaving the Wayfarer parties to race through their portion of the examination. So it's like she's ruining things for them on purpose, stealing time from them, really. It's so bad. And the judge read all of this. He saw all this bad behavior detailed here. And still, now can you imagine if this were Blake's team tattling on Wayfarer and saying Wayfarer did this and Wayfarer did that? What he would be saying right now, how much different this order would have sounded? That's what I'm saying. C. Hayden says, do you think Lyman has a poster of Blake above his bed that he worships like a teen boy? My next thumbnail with him in it is going to have a poster of her on his wall, and he's going to be kissing it goodnight before he goes to bed. Me too. Layden says I actually despise this lady and judge. Yeah, I'm to that point now. And there are very few people I despise in this world, but oh, she amended it and said he can't sit for another day? I saw that they talked about how it was really, really hard to pin him down for this one, and that the deadline is there, so they would have to, with the old nose, Khaleesi, with the old nose. Yes, it will have to be with the old nose. I always like to use that one. Yes, you did. You did hear that she purposefully came back from breaks late to make Wayfair have less time. Yeah, all of them apparently, because it's breaks as in plural, including the lunch break. She came back late and then still used up her whole time, and so they had to short their time. Yeah, somebody else will have to go if if Ellen can't. Somebody will be there. But the thing is, Ellen needs to hear the entire deposition so she can know what questions she needs to ask to clarify. She really needs, it's very, very important that she needs to be there for the entire deposition. And the judge should understand that. It is so petty, Just Khaleesi. Me too. Michelle says if I was Ellen, I would be on my last nerve. Oh, a month ago. No, he's not going to be removed. Caesar asks, can Liman still be removed? He goes against his own rulings from other cases, circumvents protocol. The docket is a mess. It's so hard to remove a federal judge, and it's so late in the case. I don't know that anybody would even Wayfair would want that to happen, because you would start all over. Anita says, even not actually golden in about 25 years of practice, said that she had never seen this type of request. That was before he made his ruling and granted it. I do wonder what she'll say about it. Yeah, we'll wake up to her answer. I love that she gets up early and responds to these things. So it might be too late to hear from little girl attorney. Sometimes if it's not too super late, she will give a pretty late one because she's West Coast. Thank you, Glow. Glow says he did this to a Diddy victim too. Yeah, this guy is... He does need to be stopped, Layden. So this goes on. She says we cannot be put in a position where we agree that plaintiff will take precedence and then run out the clock, leaving us unable to thoroughly examine Mr. Greenstein. It is unclear why plaintiff is demanding preference. And then I love this. She goes, if you have any authority for the bizarre notion that this rule or practice applies in depositions, please provide it. And of course, she doesn't. But she does quote some case, but I feel like that's not what Ellen's asking for. And then she goes, Ellen, Ms. Lively is the plaintiff and has the right to begin questioning just like she will at trial. That's what she keeps saying. This deposition is trial testimony and must proceed as such. Oh, wait, that might be yeah, that one's a repeat. We've already read that. And then this woman's response, she just starts barking stuff off like, it's settled. This is what we're going to do. And this is what we expect. And you just better be there. It's like she already knew the judge was going to rule in her favor. So she sets all the rules. And then she's like, we reserve the right to go past noon by any amount of time after 8 when the deposition commences. Can Sony and the Wayfarer parties please confirm mutual agreement to commence the deposition precisely at 8? We do not intend to take any breaks. Here's the thing. It's not up to you. You don't get to call the breaks or not. It comes down to the court reporter. It comes down to the videographer. It comes down to the one that's being deposed. You cannot control them. And if they say they want one, you can't say no. And then she's asking them to confirm with Sony, just making all of these demands. And then says it again. I'm going to tell Dad, please confirm agreement by 4:30 Eastern Standard Time today to all of the above. And she's got it all numbered, her 4 points, so that Miss Lively can seek relief from her daddy if necessary. If Sony does, sorry, my voice has had it. If Sony does not agree to the above proposal, please identify the precise reason for Mr. Greenstein's unavailability after 4:30 on September 30th, as this time change is causing significant disruption. You are the one causing the significant disruption. Why are you even saying this? And then it's worth pointing out that the Wayfarer party's insistence that they're entitled to begin examinations simply because they were the first to notice certain depositions is contrary to law. And this is where she cites a case law instead of actual rules. I'm sure there are rules somewhere. I just haven't had time to look them up. But this whole thing, it's I was getting so angry for Ellen when I was reading this. Just the absolute disrespect. So yeah, so we can see this and get absolutely appalled and think that the judge is going to see this and that he would get mad, because if this was the Wayfarer party, he would. And no, late tonight, he's like, Blake gets what Blake wants, and that's it. And I don't think there was much more from this that I wanted to read. I didn't know if you guys had seen all of this and just how flippant and how demanding the whole thing was. And of course, Daddy Lyman was more than happy to do what he did. All right, I'm going to go through a few more comments, and then we're going to go ahead and call it a night. I just wanted to jump on and just express my outrage and hopefully sleep. We'll see. I hope Ellen has a dog. Yeah. She seems like such a sweet lady. Yeah. A thumb says Lyman just checked his phone notifications from bed and approved her request. Yeah, he said it was being taken under advisement really early this morning, and then really, really late tonight, he came through for her. Yeah, they are bully attorneys. I agree. I would be bald by now from ripping my hair out if I were Ellen. I bet she's had some pretty frustrated moments. This, Anita, the lack of respect towards the Wayfarer's attorneys is absolutely off the charts and sickening. It is. This is so unprofessional. Can Blake's team stall the deposition by asking the Sony representative to share his favorite cake recipe? I mean, I wish we could go and hear these things. I really do. I wish we could witness them and what's going to happen, because when you're this flippant going into it, and now going to be even more emboldened because the judge has ruled in your favor yet again, they're not going to behave at this thing. There's no way they're going to behave at this thing. And they're going to be wanting to take frequent breaks, because guess what else is going on that same day? The Van Zandt deposition. So whoever it is that ends up, we still don't know who's going to actually take the deposition or sit for the deposition. But if Blake is here watching this one, you know she's going to want to be finding out what's going on with the other one. So she's going to want to take frequent breaks. I just think it's going to all go really, really bad. Yes, that's true, Nikki. No matter what happens, Blake has nothing. That's why her attorneys are being bullies. She really does have nothing, and that motion really proved it. Monica says, that's what I wish, but she said it would cost so much more money to get him out and start all over again. Yeah, I think even the Wayfarer parties wouldn't. But maybe it would be worth it and end faster in the long run. Probably end more fair. Because here's what it comes down to. This is the man who's going to decide what evidence or what of the discovery gets to go forward as evidence in the trial. So all of this discovery that they're collecting now, just before they go to trial, there's going to be some conferences where they all come together. There's also what's called Liman, and that's where they present their list of evidence to each other, and naturally, each side wants to get rid of some of the more compelling evidence from the other person. And so they're supposed to meet and confer just like they have all along. And if they can't decide then it comes to guess who? This man. And he will ultimately be the decider of what gets to actually become the evidence at the trial. So he can rule stuff inadmissible. And from what we've seen of him, I don't think it's a stretch to think that he's going to side for Blake through that as well. So he could very well strip them of some of their best evidence before they get to trial, including eliminating witnesses. So we can say, yeah, Blake has nothing, and we can say, oh, Wayfair has this and that. But in the end, before trial, he's going to decide what gets inadmissible and what gets admissible. And so he can really determine the outcome of this trial by that power alone. So I don't feel comforted by hearing, what Blake's case is or what Wayfair's case is, because he still has a final say about what that jury hears. And I have absolutely no trust in his fairness. Something is very, very wrong here. Very, very wrong here. And attorneys I know in real life all say that, because they're not on YouTube with people listening and their names and faces aren't out there. But they have all said something is wrong here. And even Rachel Juarez, she's a judge, and she went live with Omar way back when the motions were dismissed. And she thought some things didn't look right. So something's very off here. And I don't have hope in anything at this point. Vouch for Female says, at least Blake can't cause a fuss when she loses. What will be her grounds for appeal? She's gotten most what she wanted. Yeah, she won't have grounds for appeal if she does lose. She just can't get evidence that doesn't exist to save her life. Exactly. Yeah, she won't have grounds for an appeal if by some wild chance she does lose. But yeah, I don't know that Wayfair is going to get justice until this is out of Liman's hands. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, maybe people are right. Maybe this is all just to stop Blake from being able to appeal because he knows her case isn't going to survive. But the way he treats Wayfair, he seems to despise them, like honestly despise them. So I don't think it's just that. I don't think it's just making sure she doesn't have grounds for appeal. He truly seems to hate them. Jesse says, just remember Karen kicked booty in appeal, and appeal is what it took. Probably same here. Appeal will reveal. It may come down to that, unfortunately, but at least in an appeal, it won't be this judge. Yeah, Monica. Omar does agree that the judge is biased. He's bold enough to say it. I'm so pleased with that. I thought he was going to go live tonight. I even actually got on there. There were other people waiting, and then we realized it was 24 hours away. So I thought he was going live tonight, but maybe he'll have something to say about it tomorrow. I won't be available tomorrow. My trip had gotten postponed, and so I think it will be tomorrow. So I will be gone for a couple of days, but I will be tuning in to see what Omar says, because I always love his takes. How is he available at this time? Exactly, Enrique. That's what I said. I go, oh, Ryan must have called him and said, hey, dude, you didn't take care of this. Get out of bed and take care of this. Yes, Lisa, on a Saturday, no less. On a Saturday. It's crazy. Motion to not post the lives more than 24. I agree. I thought it was a mistake, because sometimes if you're too close to midnight, it will put it for the next day, and like you don't realize it at first. But no, he never came on, so it was meant for tomorrow. And I'm like, boy, that's early. Boy, would I stress out if I had a deadline on myself like that. All right, guys. I'm gonna call it a night and hope I can go to bed and get some sleep. And let me see, did I miss anything? Go through these. Thank you, Glow, so much for always being so generous to us, and all of your comments as well. And I hope you all have a great night, and I will speak with you again in a few more days. Good night.